Wisconsin football, Packers.
Something else happened. Something else I had on my mind. It'll come to me.
All right. Let's see here. Check the melody. Check the melody.
Hey, I got a guest that we're gonna bring on
Okay.
down like soon. He's a guy I do the show with. So he was an actor. He was in Transformers, NCIS,
Sure.
How to Get Away with Murder. His IMDb is ridiculous. All the shows he was in.
I know who you're talking about. He was the fullback, right? Or was he tight end?
Linebacker.
Linebacker.
Yep. A long time ago. Yeah. Just I think he'll be good for a sports show for sure. He's very energetic. You've heard him. So, but anyways, let's get this bad boy going. You ready?
I'm ready.
I see you got the setup there. You off the totes?
No, I'm on the totes yet. It's supposed to come Monday.
No, I got you.
All right. What's up, sports fans? Thanks for tuning in to some Untapped Keg Sports, part of the Believe Podcast Network. Today, we are brought to you by Bet Online. We're back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back on to start another football season. As always, Bet Online is your number one spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With a new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, Bet Online continues to be the number one source for everything football. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 100% welcome bonus. That's double your initial deposit just for signing up. Don't forget to use the promo code NFL100. Again, that promo code is NFL100. Bet Online, the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. Bet Online, your online sportsbook experts. Remember to bet responsibly. We're also brought to you by...
Yes, indeed. Brought to you, sponsored by all the above, guys. Balance 7. So again, you guys, Balance 7. Sounds like Lamar Odom is thinking about coming back, playing some basketball over in Spain with his good friend Paul Gasol. And I mean, honestly, he's been taking the product, you guys, and he loves it. Balance 7, because what you get from this product is pH balancing, which is extremely important. Alkaline supplement drink. It's like your vitamins or your supplements, literally in liquid form. Here's the beauty about this stuff, man. When I was playing, the deal is obviously water is extremely important. We know that you need your water, but sometimes, you guys, water is not what your body needs in that moment. Sometimes it needs those electrolytes, it needs those vitamins, it needs those supplements to help you push through that third quarter, fourth quarter. So check out this Balance 7. You can see how Balance 7 has helped. And right now, if you go to balance7.com and use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, you'll get $10 off their 32-ounce bottle. Again, you'll get $10 off their 32-ounce bottle. The bottle lasts 11 days, which is the perfect amount of time to feel the pH balancing drink literally go to work. Again, that's balance7.com and use the code BELIEVE at checkout, BLEAV at checkout. I most definitely did. If it worked for him, it can work for you too. It's working for me, so you guys go check that out.
Once again, thank you for tapping into some Untapped Keg Sports. I'm RJ Zimmerman, here with my good friend Montee Ball, and We're going to get into it here real quick, but how are you doing, big guy?
Good. Energetic. Friday. Come on. Woke up Friday. Started listening to some music. Feeling good. I'm good, man. I mean, come on, man. We're in the heart of football. I mean, it's go time, baby. There's no time for sleep. All the above, but all in all, I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
You know, I'm excellent. Can't complain. In the new place, we're in Virginia. We're just taking it day by day, taking care of the kids, having a lot of fun with them. You know what though? One thing that we said last week about that game versus Eastern Michigan, going right into Badger football talk, we said we weren't going to learn anything from that game, and I believe that is true. What do you believe?
Yeah, we learned. I mean, kudos to Eastern Michigan. We understand, obviously, scheduling those games. Eastern Michigan gets a check, and obviously our players get some clock, second string and third string. Not much was learned, though. Not really at all, other than Isaac's got track speed. Again, that's Garindo. Has got some track speed. Berger was looking decent as well too, for sure. But again, we didn't really learn nothing new. But it's also still good just to get that W, then come into a bye week and then prep for Notre Dame. But again, just a fluff game. Glad these boys went home with the W, but obviously we're facing a Notre Dame team that on paper they seem good, but they did struggle in their first two games. They almost lost to Toledo. Both of their two wins are barely wins. So this is going to be a good game in Soldier Field, man. I really think it is.
The only way it's going to be a good game is if they can keep their composure. I think it's frustrating when you watch the way that they play and the way that they call a game, because you almost have to be perfect the way that they call a game. I don't feel like the offensive line dominated like they should have, right?
Didn't learn anything.
I mean, Jalen, I'll say this, okay. Ches looks really, really good. Jalen Berger looks different. When you watch the two run, there's just a little bit of difference in that athleticism from Jalen Berger to Ches Malusi. And so I want to see a little bit more Berger than what we saw in the last game. I honestly am worried about this offensive line. They will not hold up come the big boys. You get
Iowa.
Yeah, you get three defensive rushers in there that can rotate and stay fresh. They're in trouble. This offensive line is in big trouble. Starting at left tackle, hopefully they can get a little bit better and they get woken up a little bit. Maybe some of the dirty plays that they say they had in the Eastern Michigan game will wake them up to this is real big time football. But I'm still not convinced. I love seeing some of the throws that you see. You see pro football throws from the quarterback, but I honestly, I want to see them open it up a little bit more.
Yeah,
I want to see them
absolutely.
open that offense up. Jet sweep. Look at what you get from Isaac. You get him on the outside. Why are you running him up the middle constantly if you have that kind of speed to get to the outside?
We remember what happens when you utilize all three running backs. When you have three running backs that can tote the rock, that can run, that hit the hole with some speed and play some darn good football. We need to utilize all three, and hopefully that's what we're going to do. I think you had a really good take there talking about just obviously the offensive line. Obviously, none of that's going to happen if the offensive line doesn't get their stuff straightened out. It just seems to me that it's just very slow. And it just seems like they're thinking too much. It's just not natural to me. I don't know what that means, but just for me, watching the O-line, I need to see some fluidity. I need to see some confidence. I need to see some less thinking. Just do your assignment, crush, run through the folks, and just trust that the running back is going to make the right read. That's just not what I'm seeing. And granted, 2 games, one really good team that we played, Penn State. They're always great with their front seven, so that's a challenge right off the bat, first game of the season. But Eastern Michigan, we needed to see more in that aspect, with that aspect, that being the offensive line. But granted, we did see the running backs do well. Mertz managed well. We just need for them to really step it up and become just a more confident team going into Soldier Field. And then even after that, as we stated, Iowa, Minnesota. I mean, those two teams right there. The way that we're playing right now, we're not going to make it past those two teams. That's a fact.
I don't even know if this team will be in Nebraska.
Yeah, say those two games are a little later because after Notre Dame is Michigan home game. Again, Michigan's always a toss-up. It depends on what side of the bed they wake up on. But still can't just automatically believe you're going to just cakewalk through Michigan. This team just needs to be more flashy, and I'm just going to get straight into it, man. I've been a little hesitant for personal reasons, from emotions, obviously, because I like Coach Chris as a man, and I like him as a coach as well too. But I'm just gonna put my emotions to the side and obviously just call a spade a spade. I give it two more games, and if I'm still seeing this, if we're still seeing this real slow, basic route trees, play action plays that really aren't working, there's got to be a decision made up top. There has to be. Not saying obviously fire him mid-season. That's a bit aggressive, but I think there needs to be a little bit of fire put under him. He needs to feel like he's sitting in the SEC, coaching chair, where it's day one, you're on the hot seat in the SEC. That needs to happen. Needs to.
You have a quarterback with a good arm. The decision making, the reads maybe aren't where they need to be. You haven't seen too many downfield passes. And when you do, it's like the primary read is the guy going way downfield.
Right.
I agree. Like, you cannot win with a vanilla offense. Like, you should have seen some more exotic looks, and you could say, well, we don't want to put that on film for the next few games, but that's not a college way of thinking. Like, you need to see that at game speed. Like,
you do.
We're not talking an NFL team that has played together for the key players have played together for like 5 or 6 years. No, like, this team needs to practice at game speed. And Absolutely. You should have, as soon as you got up like you did on Eastern Michigan, you should have used it for some of your jet sweep looks, your motions. I'm going to say it again, and this goes to coaching. You have somebody with the speed like Garendo, and you keep pounding the middle with him, you have a problem from your game planning standpoint. If you're going to do that, you are not putting him in a position to win. You're not putting him in a position to utilize his strengths. Exactly. Like, what are you doing?
Exactly. And that's what we did. And I keep referencing back to, my sophomore, junior year, because granted, we had a darn good quarterback in 2011, that being Russell Wilson, but let's go ahead and take him out the equation. We still ran, obviously, prior to him even showing up, that being my sophomore year, we ran this kind of 3-trick pony backfield where we had the speedster doing the jet sweep. Obviously, my junior year, Melvin Gordon on the jet sweep. You had to honor his speed. The defense had to honor his speed, and all the running back needed in the backfield was just for them to lock in on Melvin for just 1 second, and that's it. That's all it takes for that hole to open up and for you to hit the crease and be gone. They need to utilize that. Put Garendo on those jet sweeps, fake it to him, give it to him. Do that. It's called a pony offense, pony package, 3 running backs. Utilize them. I think that if this team did that, I'm telling you, this would be a completely different offense. Because here's the thing: when you look around the Big Ten Conference, why is it that every single team has adjusted with the game of football? It's changing. It's evolving. It's different now. It is. Wisconsin seems to be the last one at the party. Seems like we didn't get the memo. We have to adjust with the game. And I'm not just talking about in-game. I'm talking about with the actual game of football. Right. It is adjusting. It's evolving. And we're not taking that step.
And it's just putting your talented players in a position to utilize their strengths.
It's Belichick.
Right? That's what you have to do, especially at the college level, and you're just not doing it. Why aren't you running pitches? Like, you're talking about the pony offense. Why don't you just, you can't hand the ball off very well. Why don't you just do a pitch? Is that an issue too? Like,
I want to know if
an issue there.
Right. That's actually a good point. But I want to know if it's the offensive line, what if their hips are not too mobile? What if they're not great at getting out on the edge, pulling and getting out on the edge? Because usually you have two of them out there on a pitch. What if they're too slow? That's the thing. I think the thing is, it's not all Mertz. So we've obviously addressed that here on the podcast, where we've stated can't put it all on Mertz, because obviously we saw the mishaps with the offensive line. I think there's more there than we've even talked about, or to where we even know. I think the offensive line, as you stated, RJ, maybe on air, maybe off, where you shared that this might be the worst offensive line in a very long time. And obviously having a pretty poor offensive line, it's going to be difficult getting on the edge. It's going to be difficult, obviously, allowing for your quarterback to go through his reads, because he doesn't feel too confident that he's going to have the time. And then obviously we understand it's pretty obvious how that affects our running back. So something has to happen, because I do not see us making it past Iowa. I do not see us making it past Michigan. I do not see us making it past Minnesota with the current play that we have now. We cannot say this team is really good after beating Eastern Michigan the way that they did. Hopefully no one's out there saying that we're really great after that. Well, we got to change something.
And that goes back to what we said. Like, you're not going to learn anything about this team playing a team like Eastern Michigan. No. And kudos to Eastern Michigan. They hung in there for a little bit. I mean, the red zone offense is a problem, right? That's a massive problem. That starts up front.
Egregious.
But you were talking about Notre Dame, and maybe it's not going to be as good of a team as we thought at first. Let's put it into context. This Notre Dame team, first week of the season, was taken to overtime by a Florida State team that lost to Jackson State.
Exactly.
That's something. That's something, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know. We know how else to put it, but that they're probably two evenly matched teams, and as much of a disappointment as we feel it is right now for Wisconsin, you get a little bit of confidence, and a team that might be a little bit weak could make a run. So,
true, and I think too we can't ignore the fact that emotions come into play when you're talking about this sport, and other sports as well, where you get very emotional, and that those emotions can benefit you. Jack Cohn, of course, understanding what happened with him at Wisconsin and them going with Mertz, we cannot ignore that. Yeah, Notre Dame on paper, they look decent, but if you watch the games and it's like, okay, this team working through some things because they're really not playing as well as they should be playing. But coming into this game, Jack Cohn, maybe a little pissed off still at the University of Wisconsin, XYZ, what have you. He may have this one circled on his calendar. No, there's no may. We know he's had this circled on the calendar since he showed up at Notre Dame.
It would be really interesting if we could get Jack Cohn to be honest in an interview and ask him the differences between being coached at Notre Dame compared to being coached from the quarterback position at Wisconsin, because I'd like to know the difference, because I'm very skeptical of the coaching of the quarterbacks at Wisconsin.
It's Budmeyer. He came in. He was in my recruiting class. John Budmeyer.
I know that name. I know that name. Yeah.
Out of Illinois, and long story short, his career didn't go planned because of injuries. But he's a student of the game. That's for sure. That is for sure. He was always a student of the game, of notes, flashcards, early in meeting rooms, etc. Early out on the field, getting his throws in before practice and throws after practice. But I'm not sure how that's translating into him being actually a quarterback coach. That's a good point, man. Let's reach out to Cone.
Right?
Let's reach out to him. That's a good one though, because as we stated in our last show, it's not like he's out there playing lights out football. But for me, watching Cone, his posture seems different.
He's letting it rip. He's letting it rip, which he very rarely did at Wisconsin.
Yeah, he's more poised. He's more confident. It seems like he feels more free. Like, go out there, make mistakes. Make him at 100%, though. Just go play football. Have fun. It seems like in Wisconsin, just like you stated, this box. All right, you did that in high school. You're fast. You're great. You can sling it. But, okay, you chose to come here. This is how our quarterbacks play. It's not working, man. It's not working. It's not.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And I really hope that we are sounding the alarm early, right? And we'll be proved wrong in the long run.
Hope so too.
But
yeah.
I'm skeptical. I just want to say that I am skeptical right now with what we're going to see, especially from a coaching staff that notoriously has problems adjusting.
Give me your game prediction, score prediction. What you got
for Notre Dame?
Mm-hmm. At Soldier Field, Notre Dame has been putting points up, averaging what is it, about 30 points a game, somewhere around there, 30, 31.
Yeah, and I think that the weakness for this team is obviously the secondary, and on the defensive side, I think they're special up front. I really think that this defensive team is special up front. Wisconsin.
Who are you talking about? Wisconsin?
Wisconsin has some holes on defense, so especially in the deep game. Notre Dame has some really flashy receivers. Jim Leonard could possibly get that solved to the point where they are very they're fine back there, right? They can get it done. I still think I'm going to say 34-10 Notre Dame. I think the defense gets caught trying to make some plays because it's the only way that they're going to win. And I see Notre Dame blowing Wisconsin out in this one because I think that offense is just not good at all.
I know. I'm gonna check the spread. I'm gonna check the spread right now.
I bet you it's Notre Dame
just on Google
4 or 5.
And again, when we share, obviously the Bet Online who's sponsoring us. Again, you guys understand we are a makeshift podcast startup. But we also obviously talk about sobriety and recovery. We do understand the importance of prefacing that sponsor or even afterwards sharing that, if you are struggling with gambling addiction, please reach out to us. Please reach out to the Gambling Anonymous group, all of the above, because we do understand that can be a trigger. So we do appreciate you guys being patient with us on that and understanding that we are just trying
to figure it out
two amateurs, right? Two amateurs just trying to receive slight compensation for this almost 2 years of work. But keep going. I'm gonna look up this this spread up real quick.
What do you think the final score will be? Well, all right. So what I think is gonna happen is, and that what I think happened in the Penn State game, why Wisconsin got beat over the top. You realize that your offense is having problems in moving the ball. So the defense has to try to compensate for that by trying to create a turnover. And when you get aggressive like that, you are vulnerable deep. You're not just vulnerable deep. You're vulnerable over the middle, which is a big problem when you have athletes on the outside, which I believe that Notre Dame has a lot better athletes on the outside than Wisconsin does as far as this secondary scares me. I think there might be one person who is a baller over there, and I think that's about it. I think it's young, so there's some talent there that needs to be groomed a little bit, and I kind of wish that they would play their young talent a little bit more. But, I mean, we'll see, ultimately. That's what it comes down to. We'll see.
Yeah, I couldn't find the spread, but that's not important. I will go with... Yeah, it makes me a little nervous, man. Our secondary and Cone's now comfortability in throwing that deep ball because Nelson's playing well, but he's squatting a bit too much back there. Um, he's squatting too much back there, and I've noticed that the past 2 weeks. And if I'm capable of noticing that, dang well Notre Dame is spotting that. So hopefully that gets corrected. Hopefully they feel a little bit more comfortable back there. But at the current moment, right now, because there is no game this weekend, that makes me a little nervous. It really, really does. I have to give it to Notre Dame as well. But I'm only going to give it to them by 3. I'm only going to give it to them by 3, -3 for Notre Dame. So my prediction is going to be a 2023 Notre Dame. And I hate that. I'm Bucky. I'm a Badger. But my honest take, because, our listeners deserve our honest takes, I got Notre Dame by 3. Yeah. They seem to always figure out a way. And yeah, there's only been 2 weeks, but that's all the info that we do have. And right now it seems like they do a great job of squeezing out a victory.
So the spread right now, which was preseason, was calculated. The only one I can find is Wisconsin by 3. Wisconsin is favored by 3.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a close game, man. I think it's gonna be close. I got Notre Dame by 3, but
I could see it being close until the second half, and that's when I think that you'll have a couple long touchdowns, and then you have a late touchdown to absolutely seal it.
Here's the thing: we don't score fast. We're not a quick hitting team. Although we have the ability to. We got a guy who's running at track speed.
You got a couple, right? Danny Davis, Kendrick Pryor. You got Garendo. Like, you have the ability to do it. It's just a matter of not wanting to. And I don't know why that is. You got a defense like you do. That means take some shots. Rely on your defense. So, we Penn State, we didn't score quick. We scored quick, obviously, against Eastern Michigan, but again, that's that. We all understand what that is. So when we get down, I get a little nervous, and I think that Notre Dame's going to jump on top, and we're going to be playing catch up, and unfortunately lose by 3. So with it being a bye week, I think that that's enough about Wisconsin. Let's move on to you deleting your Twitter. Are you going to have to... Did you delete your Twitter? What's going on there? I want to talk about this. What's the backstory there?
Of course I did not. Yeah, against the Giants fans. So, guys, listen, obviously RJ knows. I grew up a Broncos fan. So, of course, I'm rooting for... I'm kind of transitioning into this... now becoming a super fan. Former athletes, it takes, it takes former athletes some time, because once you retire, it's like, okay, I'm going to take a couple years off away from the game and experience new stuff. But it's been 5 years, so now I'm like, I miss it. So I'm diving in head first back into it. Become a super fan of the Broncos and just rooting for my team. No disrespect, no nothing. I'm just saying, hey, they're going to go into New York and it's going to be a cakewalk. No disrespect to the fans or anything. I'm just rooting for my team. Giants fans attack me personally, come at me, talking trash. And I was just, rebuttaling back in a very respectful way. I'm never taking personal jabs at folks. I'm just having healthy trash talk. Long story short, I then come back and say, all right, because I had a bunch of Giants fans just cornering me. And I was like, all right, this is on Twitter. So I'm like, all right, if all right, Broncos, if you guys lose, I'm going to have to delete my Twitter. But, of course, we all understand what happened. Broncos did go into New York, did go into MetLife, and smacked those Giants. My prediction was absolutely correct, and I made a bunch of Giants fans eat crow. So here's the deal, man. We're transitioning into the NFL. I'm biased, of course, but even removing that and removing my emotions, you obviously being a Packers fan, that Broncos defense is looking really good. And Chubb is not even in yet because he's a little banged up. The Giants, I get it. I mean, they're not the best team, but that team, Von Miller is looking like he is back.
Von Miller's looking strong. He's looking very strong.
That team, dude, I'm telling you, and that offense too. Like, don't sleep on Teddy Two Glove, man.
And that's the thing. That's what the Broncos have been missing for a couple years. They don't need the way that they constructed their offense. They don't need a quarterback to carry the load.
No,
such as Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, even a Justin Herbert, Josh Allen. You just need someone competent who can get the ball out, and that's what you got in Teddy Bridgewater. Bridgewater showed it in New Orleans that if he has skill players, he could be a dang good quarterback. And he's underrated for what he did for that Panthers team last year. So I always liked that trade. I always thought he was a good fit. I was surprised that Locke pushed him like he did. They kind of lived up to what I expected of them in that first week. I wasn't really surprised at what they did. I mean, Daniel Jones is the starting quarterback for the New York Giants. What do you think is going to happen?
He's not bad though. I don't understand what's going on there. Obviously, they have one of the best running backs in the league at the current moment when he's healthy. That being Saquon Barkley, and Sterling Shepard, obviously you can't sleep on. So I guess they
made some big moves. They have a lot of skill position players that on paper should be really good, but I don't know. We'll see. So they go into Jacksonville. The Denver Broncos do this week. You try to your trolling Tuesday. How many responses did you get tweeting at the Jaguars?
Did you see that?
Was it like 2 or 3? I mean, they only got enough fans for a tenth of a stadium.
Bro, you saw that too. I was, it's healthy trash talk, you guys. I'm not ever going to personally attack a fan. I'm just healthy trash talk. So all I tweeted out was just Jacksonville, LOL. And yeah, I only got like 3 responses because they know what's gonna happen. That team, obviously they're building. They invested a significant amount, obviously, in Trevor. And then they're building a team around it. But right now, currently, the Broncos are on the rise and Jacksonville is just waking up.
I don't even know if they're waking up.
So it most definitely should be a similar game, actually. Similar. Now here's the kicker though. Trevor Lawrence, that is his first loss ever, pretty much. That's counting high school, that's counting college, and
in a regular season. It's his first
in a regular season,
ever, in a regular season.
Correct, in a regular season. So he may come back with a vengeance, who knows, but this Broncos defense is legit. It is legit. I mean,
there are some players on the Jaguars offense, but it's nothing that I think is going to give the Broncos too much of fits.
No.
I didn't realize some of the moves that the Broncos made in their secondary, but my goodness, do they have talent everywhere on that defense.
I told you that.
I know.
We got the best secondary.
Trust you when it comes to talking about the Broncos.
The best secondary in the league right now.
It probably is.
Oh yeah, but let's go ahead and go to those Packers.
The spread is the Broncos are favored by 6. Do you think the Broncos cover?
Yeah. So my initial prediction was by 17, and then this morning I had an interview with some Jacksonville folks, and I did come a little modest. Because I was like, all right, let me remove my emotions and just actually look at the the teams here, and I gave them by 10. Broncos by 10. I took a score away. But yeah, still, long story short, it's gonna be a very definitive win by Denver.
Look, the Broncos are gonna have at least 1 pick six in this game. You heard it here first. It's gonna be
I can see that
by at least 2 touchdowns that they win this game.
I hope
Melvin's probably gonna rip off another long touchdown run. Did you see he had the fastest on-field time of any player last week?
What did I tell you? What did I tell you preseason? I said I've been watching his workouts, and his feet look way faster than they ever have. I literally remember saying that. He's ringing the bell, man, and he knows where he's at in his career. He knows he's on his last contract last year of his contract with Denver, so he's got a ball to continue to play.
Absolutely. And that was great to see. As a fan, from a fan perspective, that was great to see. So that's I honestly think the Broncos are going to win by 14-20. They're gonna blow them out here.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to hear this, Packers, man. Did the Packers get off the plane? Did they get off the bus or the plane? Did they? Oh my gosh! Is Aaron Rodgers tanking? Is this his way of getting back?
Did you watch a game at all?
I actually didn't catch it. I didn't.
Listen, if anybody puts this game on Aaron Rodgers, I don't take him seriously as an analyst. I'm sorry. Like,
well, what do you mean?
He missed some throws for sure. He threw 2 bad interceptions.
He didn't score. How does that own a quarterback?
The offensive line was a sieve. You couldn't run the ball, period. You had 2 runs that were basically positive yards. That's it. And then you threw your defense. I don't know what was going on out there, but that defense was ugly, like worse than ugly. Kevin
King.
I don't know how he's
Kevin King.
There's no way you can play him this week. I'm sorry, you can't.
Kevin King.
You can't.
Offense scored a field goal, dude. That's
the offense was very bad. Don't get me wrong. Like, and yes, Aaron Rodgers has a little bit of responsibility in that. But when your receivers are not getting open, where is he supposed to throw it? And then he doesn't even have enough time to get to his third look because he's sacked. Right?
Here's the thing. Oh, sorry. I keep cutting you off. My bad.
Is it like, obviously everybody knows, like, I'm a Aaron Rodgers fan, but when you watch that game, and I've seen people watch that, like, who've put comments on that watch that game, right. Aaron Rodgers only missed maybe 3 throws. That's it. 3 throws. Like, some of these are just receivers making plays and receivers running crisp routes, and some of it is that offense was very vanilla. This was a lot of rust because they haven't played at all in the preseason. This is where I'm not going to play in the preseason comes back to bite you in that first game, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Like, that was the worst Packers defense I've seen since, Mike McCarthy, Dom Capers. Like, go back to Mike Patton.
Here's the thing. I didn't watch the game, but I've heard enough takes. I've looked at the stats, and I'm like, 3 throws is a pretty big deal, in my opinion, especially when if you're losing. You got to turn it around. You can't put the blame in the same situation as obviously the Badgers. You can't blame all on one player. That's just not reality. But my question to you, RJ, is: do you think Aaron Rodgers, which a lot of it wasn't his fault, but that outside noise that happened, obviously prior to the season, him missing OTAs, do you think it has a lot to do with timing?
No.
Why not? Missed 3 throws and receivers not getting open. Do you think that has something to do with timing?
That is not timing. That is not
missing throws.
I think it has more to do with the entire offense not playing together in game speed, right? In preseason. Like, yes, that could be it. It's not missing OTAs. You've had enough practice that your timing could be there, right? It's honestly not being in game shape. This offense and this defense were not in game shape. You got away with it last year because nobody was in game shape last year in the first couple weeks. Like, you did not see much for motions that you would normally see. There were a couple of plays where it could have been open where the receiver trips and falls. There was a little bit of bad luck there, but most of it comes from the fact that you are not in game shape. Like this, the entire football team, from the quarterback to the long snapper, was not in game shape. And that is an organizational problem. And you could see that from the first drive. Some of these plays where it was open for somebody to make a play and they just didn't. Like, that's an issue.
Right.
In college, I have a lot more of a tolerance for players not making plays because they're kids. In the pros, you're making money If you can make a play, make a play. Here's one, 3rd and 2, and bad throw. Kamara makes a great catch. The linebacker's right there to make a tackle, and he just stands there and lets Kamara reach for a first down. Like, what are you doing? You gonna play? You're just gonna watch? Get popcorn? Like, and that's Campbell.
You can't coach effort.
And that's what it was, right? So, like, Kenny Clark missed a sack and then just like pulled up. Like, dude, you're a leader on this defense. You better be busting your butt. And it was hot on the field. Again, you didn't play at all in the preseason. Okay. But you are making a lot of money. You better be hustling every single play. And Zadarius Smith just went on IR today. And sometimes they did get some pressure on the quarterback, but how often did Jameis step up and he just run for a first down? Like, yes, the offense was bad. The defense was way worse, and the offense was not given an opportunity to get in any rhythm. And when you don't play in the preseason, you're not given an opportunity to get in a rhythm. That's a problem. That's a big problem. And yes, Aaron Rodgers needs to do better. He needs to get first downs. He needs to maybe call audibles. I mean, I don't know. They moved the ball at the end of the first half, and then they moved the ball again at the beginning of the second half. Turnovers obviously stopped it. I honestly think they're going to come out and score 50 on Monday night. Playing the Lions at home.
Lions. Probably
the worst secondary in the NFL. I do not see, like, the offensive line was an issue as well. Primarily the right side, but that's not an excuse for why you weren't able to run the ball at all. When you just abandoned it and you didn't even use it, to your advantage. Like, the play action wasn't working, and it wasn't working because you couldn't run the ball. So they knew you had to pass.
Of course.
So exactly. Marcus Davenport, like, my goodness, what a game he had. He's a stud for the Saints. And, Jameis Winston, he played as well as he needed to play. I was expecting at least one pick. Obviously, they had a pick that was overturned. People are saying it should have been DPI on that play, but, man, I don't know. Like, if that's DPI, that's a little bit weak. Obviously, that was the Zadarius Smith roughing the passer call where Smith is off his feet when Winston releases the ball, hits him in the chest, and they call roughing the passer.
Oh, geez.
The league needs to figure that out. But that's not why they lost, right? It would have been the one good play that they made. They have some injuries on defense. Their corners opposite Jair Alexander obviously are a mess. Their safeties need to do better. We expect a lot better from Savage and Amos. This is the third season they're playing together. You need to do better than you did. Their pass rush needs to do better getting off. And honestly, they need to contain the quarterback. Like, my goodness, it was like watching Kaepernick shred the Packers all over again, except it's Jameis Winston. I mean, come on. He's got a little bit of a scoot, but he's not calling Kaepernick speed.
Well,
it was a bad game all around. It felt like the Tampa Bay game last year where a couple bad things happen and you're just like, whatever, it's a lost game. You don't like to see it in your first game. If they come out and they don't blow out the Lions, I'm nervous for the rest of the season until Bakhtiari gets back. So, but I have a feeling they're going to come out. They're going to blow this Lions team out. I still think they're going to give up 30, but they're just going to score.
Bro, you need a buzzer. We need to do like a 2-minute thing.
Go ahead.
Give us 7-minute takes.
I'm passionate about this because some of the stuff I've seen has been trash.
It's bad. I'm sorry. I have to disagree with you, man, because I think that there is some correlation between the outside noise that happened preseason plus the missing of OTAs. How can we negate that when we see then this team can't even score a touchdown? We're talking the team that made it to the NFC Championship last year. Can't even score a touchdown. And we're not saying just a random team that makes it to the NFC Championship. We're talking about a probably the best receiver to quarterback combo duo in the NFL today. Not even score a touchdown.
Yeah.
I think there is some correlation between the lack of leadership off the field going into the season, plus the missing of OTAs with just the camaraderie. Team chemistry probably went down from 100% to probably 75% going into this season, as opposed to last year. This team coming off of last season, obviously that stung, losing against the Bucks. That stings. That PI should have been called. That's crap. That is. But they probably still had high hopes coming into the season. Like, all right, shoot, hey, well, we're coming back, and we got the Bucks if they're going to be there. But then all that outside noise starts happening. Aaron Rodgers, which I already stated, not really Rodgers' fault. Adam Schefter really stirred that pot. But then Aaron Rodgers' press conference where he didn't hold back. That knock of team chemistry. Maybe some of the players do like the GM. Then not being there for OTAs. Obviously, you were well more, in depth, inside the bottle when it comes to Packers football. But for me, looking on the outside in, I kind of feel like there is some correlation there, strong correlation.
The only reason that I don't think it's as big a deal as you do is because this is his fourth season with these receivers. This isn't like there's rookie receivers in there playing or first year players. Like, he's played with these same receivers and tight ends for 4 years.
What about the O-line?
The O-line has some holes because Bakhtiari isn't at left tackle because he's on the PUP list. So you took one of your best guards, move him to left tackle, your right side, and then you have a new right tackle, new center. Obviously, there's probably some miscommunications there and maybe a little bit of a lack of talent. That definitely had something to do with it because how this offense has, why they have been so good the past few years is because they've run the ball so well that they can get to play action. Right. And that did not happen against this Saints team who has a really good defensive line, and they shut that run down. So you shut that run down, you have defensive ends that have outside contain, and they see that quarterback with the ball, they're just going after him because Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the mobility that he had 6-7 years ago. I mean, he's not going to escape Davenport. So when you run a bootleg and you have somebody who's going to be wide open, but then Rodgers there's no way he's going to be able to throw that ball because there's a guy right in his face because he's not going to bite on that play action. That's why I don't think that the noise and the missing OTAs is as big of a deal. But I do think that the conditioning for sure is a huge deal. And I think that for sure how vanilla that offense was a little bit of a big deal. And I think you're vanilla because you weren't playing in the preseason games.
That's possible. Yeah. So I looked it up. So Chris Gizzy, is I think the strength and conditioning coach, and he was appointed in 2019, obviously from LaFleur. And I want to know if, like, just like you said, the conditioning, the lack of effort, because obviously once you get fatigued, your effort decreases too, unless if you were obviously extremely conditioned to push through that fatigueness to keep your effort high. So if you were stating, because obviously you watched the game, so that was just my take. I most definitely loved your take because you did watch the game. And you're stating that it just seemed like that effort was missing. That
on the defensive side, for sure.
That's conditioning. Then absolutely, that is conditioning. And I'll be honest, our conditioning test that we had to do in Denver was like extremely easy. We just had to do like 12 cross fields, and every single time you had to like beat the time, but it was like super easy. I want to know what the Packers are doing. I want to know if last year, because last year you guys made the NFC Championship. Like, what's going on?
Because that's the thing. This is their back-to-back NFC Championship appearances, right?
Yeah.
But once again, it's one game. We talked about how it was a tough team, right? That if they were going to lose, I wasn't going to panic.
Right.
This type of loss obviously would promote a lot of panic. It's week one.
Yeah.
It was 100 degrees on the field at game time. You played a really good team that had a lot to prove. because there was a lot of negativity around the Saints going into the season surrounding your quarterback change, surrounding their wide receiver core, surrounding is Sean Payton as good of a coach? Like, now's the time to prove it, right? Like, there was a lot going around this, right? So, and Jameis played a flawless game. I mean, he made one mistake that got called back, and that was it. So you have Alvin Kamara just out there, just, you know, basically 10 yards of crack every time he ran the ball. It was just total team loss.
So Saints just dominated the line of scrimmage.
It was on both sides of the ball. Absolutely, that is what happened. And once again, you know, yes, a little bit does have to be put on Aaron Rodgers. Does it all have to be? Oh, Aaron Rodgers. No. Aaron Rodgers is, you know, throwing the game. I know you're being facetious about that. Sarcastic for people that don't know. I like facetious better, but like, people were literally saying that and being serious about it. And it's like, come on. How do you watch this game and blame the quarterback when the defense can't even stop a 4th and 7?
Kevin King, huh?
That the 4th and 7 wasn't King's fault. You had a middle linebacker able to make a play, and he got blocked while Jair Alexander is getting off an offensive lineman and almost stopping him short. Like, if I'm Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator, I'm not playing Kevin King. I'm not playing Kevondre Campbell. I'm not playing, a lot of people. Like,
this is Kevin King's first game since his last game that he played terribly in. Not terribly, but he just had 3 crucial mistakes, obviously, in the NFC Championship game. So this is his first appearance since then, and you're declining. This is a very simple decision. If a defensive coordinator, I don't care how much we're paying him.
Yeah, Kevin King, Campbell, and Shannon Sullivan should honestly not be on the field. It was, dude, those 3 players were so, every single time there was a big play, those 3 players had responsibility. It was ridiculous.
I know. I saw on Twitter, they were ripping him a new one, Kevin King, on Twitter. And I'm not in favor of that. We've shared that plenty of times here on our show. It's okay to be a fan. It's okay to be a little upset. Yeah, it's fine. But don't take personal jabs at folks.
Yeah, don't tweet at people. Like, they're obviously upset. They don't want to play like trash. They don't want to play like garbage.
Right.
They just are.
And we don't know what's going on in his life. But at the end of the day, you are getting paid for a service, and if you are not providing that service, you will be excluded or pushed to the side, removed.
One thing I'll say about this upcoming Lions game, the Lions played hard. They were down 41-10, and they came back. Like, they did not give up. They didn't give up another point. They had a chance to tie that game.
Because that's golf up there, right?
Yeah. If they, like, the Lions are going to have a lot of effort. So if the Packers play with the same level of effort, I am going to be very worried for this entire season. And then I'm going to panic. I'm going to panic because there's a problem in the locker room, and I don't know who the problem is, but there's an issue.
I'm telling you, man. To me, it's like when you play the games, right? I'm playing 2K right now. I'm doing my player. So I have to focus on, obviously, my team chemistry, meaning you have to go to practice. So you have to click on the button and go to practice and practice. If you skip the practices, your team chemistry will keep declining. Obviously, that's a video game. My point here is, with what I stated preseason, that prior to even preseason games, are we seeing a decline in the team camaraderie, team chemistry, locker room? It's only been 1 week. Yeah, let's not, let's not obviously just say that this is going to be the Packers team for the rest of the season. It is only 1 week, and let's be honest, the Saints is a darn good football club. Always have been. But I think a lot of the answers, I think there's going to be a lot of questions answered this upcoming game, excuse me.
And, the year the Packers won the Super Bowl, they were below 500 after 8 weeks.
Oh, geez.
And then they went on a run, right? They were only 9-7 going into the playoffs. They were the 6th seed in a wild card, and they just went on a tear. even if they lose this Lions game, and let's say they do, maybe that's a wake up call for the entire team. But one thing, like you brought up the Aaron Rodgers, we're not talking about the fact that Devontae Adams had agreed to a contract. The Aaron Rodgers stuff happens. Adams is like, no, I'm not going to sign that. Now he's on the last year of his contract. They were going to make him the highest paid receiver. And he's like, nah, I'm good.
Oh, he said no. That's the organization.
So,
Woo!
you know, that's not Rodgers creating an environment. Like, that's the front office creating the environment. And now you see, right. And this was before that.
Forgot about Adams.
That big press conference too. And that makes me wonder about Aaron Jones too with his contract. Does Aaron Jones know, like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna be the only one here. Maybe that could be an effort issue. Like Zadarius Smith knows this is my last year on this contract. Are the Packers gonna bring me back? Maybe not. Maybe I won't just go for broke and, you know, ruin my body, put my body in harm's way. It didn't look like that in the first game. Right. Smith was hurt and he was in a lot. He obviously had that play. Like there were times I really want to see Rashawn Gary getting a lot of playing time. I want to see him take this and take the next step because he's looked like he can. But it's going to be an issue Zadarius Smith not out there. And the front office created what we have for an environment more than the quarterback did. And as much as Matt LaFleur, I like him as a coach and an offensive coordinator. I think he's a really good coach. I loved when they went for it on that fourth down. They had him wide open, but he tripped coming out of a break. Oh, jeez. You know, I like how aggressive he is, and I like that he's changing with the times. It's just we'll see what happens, and I'm not panicked yet. But again, if the effort level is not increased in this game, right, being a home game on a Monday night against a bad Lions team, and it is a bad Lions team. Yeah, you guys will win. I may not be panicked, but I'm gonna be a little bit. My eyebrows are gonna be raised, and I'm gonna be watching a lot more closely. You guys will win. I think you had a really good take there because this is going to pair with what you stated a couple episodes back, maybe last episode, where it's, you know, you're talking about these players who are on the last year of their contract. Well, these players know because obviously Aaron Rodgers stated in his press conference that he still has a bad taste in his mouth about how some of the players were let go, just the fashion that they were let go. Obviously, these players who are on the last year of their contract. Am I next? Am I going to be walked out the same way they were walked out? Oh, well, screw this organization. I'm not going to give them my heart, my love, my blood, sweat, and tears. If they did it to him, this player who balled out way more than I did, then they don't give two craps about me. That's a possibility, man. That most definitely is a possibility. I think, granted, they'll be hurting their own stock of getting picked up by another team, but unless if the other 31 teams know that it's just from top to bottom, that organization's trash, that being the Packers right now, the camaraderie. So that's a good point, actually. So end, I don't think it's not all Rodgers. That's the thing. It's not. I think you made a really good point of stating that it is the organization with Adams saying, highest paid receiver. Yeah, I want to be that, but not with you guys. When that happened, that put up the red flags for me that there's a bigger issue here. Agreed. So with that said, Packers are favored by 10, I think. You guys do you think they cover? Sure. Yes. Yeah. Come on. You think they win by more than 10? I do, actually. I think I give you guys two scores for obvious reasons. Got something to prove that we are still the reigning NFC, not champs, of course. I kept saying champs, I think, but made it to the championship. I mean, they were the number one seed going into the playoffs. Number one seed, excuse me. Thank you. So obviously they know that they obviously got to answer that bell to make it known that they're still the same team. And two, it's a home game. Come on, it's a home game. It's the opening home game, right, of the season. So you guys are gonna two scores for sure.
Come on, it's the Lions.
Yeah, I think I've already said, but I think they're going to win by a score of 50-30.
Jeez.
I seriously think they're going to put up 50 points.
No, not even that. I know that's possible, but you think that they're going to let 30 points?
Yeah, I think this defense is very bad, and I don't think that Joe Barry knows what he's doing. And I think that he's shown that at his other stops. I was very skeptical. I'm not even going to say skeptical. I was very irritated by the hire to begin with. So I have no faith after week 1 that this defense is going to be any good. And
Has Rodgers ever lost that bad? Has he ever lost that bad? Rodgers? I don't think so, right? Ever. As it started.
I don't believe so. I believe that was the worst loss since he took the team over.
Yep. I think I did see that. So hey, that happens to every quarterback. It most definitely does. It happens to every player. Well, that's just his time. And now it's done with, and now he can move on.
And like I've said before, there's not a better quarterback in NFL history than a pissed off Aaron Rodgers. And him hearing people questioning his desire, it's going to piss him off. So we'll see. It's
going to be interesting. I'm going to tune in for sure to that one.
Yeah, it's I'm on Eastern time zone now, so I'm going to be staying up late, but whatever, it's going to be worth it.
Oh, it's Monday night. That's right. Ooh, it's late for you.
It is. So let's wrap this up. So
absolutely.
Thank you for tapping into some Untapped Keg Sports, part of the Believe Podcast Network, brought to you by Bet Online. Please bet responsibly. Even if you think you might have an issue, that means that you do. And contact Gamblers Anonymous. Contact us. We can help you out. Take it seriously because it's a serious topic. And,
absolutely.
You can find me at It's Trickster, ITZ. The I is a 1 in Trickster. Find us at Untapped Keg everywhere. Where can they find you, Mons?
Yeah, guys. I'll also, don't forget about Balance 7 as well. Great product. pH balancing. Check it out. I promise you, check it out. But you guys can find me at Montee Ball 28 on Twitter. Montee Ball on Instagram. Obviously, our Untapped Keg pages as well. Shoot us topics, questions, all of the above. Got some guests coming down the pipeline. It's going to be exciting right here in the heart of the football season. So it's going to be good. I thought this was a darn good episode right here. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. That was good.
Yeah,
that was good. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
You know what? Shoot us some messages if you want us to talk about certain topics. Want to know our thoughts about other things. We're pretty much going to focus on these 3 subjects for the football season, but if there's something else that's out there, we might cover that as well. Brewers combining for the no-hitter, the second no-hitter in franchise history. It's huge. They're still on a roll. They're on a roll. I don't know what it is about them not being able to beat bad AL teams, but that's okay. So once again, I'm RJ Zimmerman. That's Montee Ball. We are Untapped Keg Sports. Please leave us a review and subscribe, and let's have a good weekend, everybody.
Indeed.